Hello everyone, welcome to my MG channel. And I call it MG channel because I can't pronounce Myasthenia Gravis more than about twice without getting completely wrong. So welcome to my MG channel. This is a video to discuss what MG is and why it happens. And it's something that seems to be quite scarce actually, because when you Google MG on the internet, you get a lot of information about the symptoms, but you don't get the information about the cause. And to me at least, the cause is kind of as interesting as the symptoms, because you want to know why it's happening as much as you do what's happening, if that makes any sense. Before I do go into this, I should give you my spiel on the fact that I'm not medically qualified, not medically trained. I don't know what I'm talking about. All I'm trying to do here is create a video which kind of explains in straightforward and simple, non-medical jargon and scientific terms what MG is, or what I understand MG is. Excuse me. And in consequence to that, if you don't understand what I'm saying, or if I'm getting it wrong, or if you want to rely on any kind of medical proper information, then of course you must see someone who is appropriately medically qualified, and do not listen to what I say, because I'm not a medical person. I'm trying to just put this in layman's terms. If you're okay with that, and you understand that I'm not a medical qualified person, and you understand that what I'm saying to you might not be right, then feel free to carry on watching. Right, so what is MG? Myasthenia gravis is a neurological condition. It's something that is, it's a neurological condition, and it's something that affects the brain, or the brain's communication with muscles in your body. And this can be anything from eyes, neck, arms, fingers, toes, legs, anything really. It can also affect the lungs, which is obviously something which I'll come to in a separate video. But essentially, what myasthenia gravis does is it stops the muscles working properly. And there are a number of reasons for that, but I shall try and start at the beginning. And again, bear in mind I'm not medically qualified. I have a very relatively limited understanding of medical stuff, so if I am saying this wrong, and you are in fact a neurological consultant or something, then feel free to tell me. But what essentially my understanding of myasthenia gravis is that, or actually let me rewind that, what my understanding of what causes myasthenia gravis is to do with the way in which the nerves or the nerve endings talk to what's called the muscle fibre. What I mean by that is, if I'm going to move my finger up and down like that, what's happening here is my brain is telling my finger to do that. And the way that it works, or at least I should say the way I understand it to work, is that from the brain there is a nerve which goes all the way down my neck, all the way down my arm, all the way through my hand to basically here. I'm going to say it's the knuckle, it might not be. Again, I'm not medically trained, but there's essentially a signal going from my brain all the way through to my hand. It's basically like a cable, and it's making my finger do that. And the reason it's doing that is because the brain's obviously telling it to, and that information is getting to here. And this, as I understand, is called the motor neuron. And you have, as I understand it, multiple motor neurons, depending, maybe there's, again, I'm not a medical person, maybe there's 5, one for each finger in your hand, plus your hand. There's all kinds of that stuff going on. I don't know how many there are. That's a medical person's question. But essentially, the motor neuron finishes here. And then what starts here along the finger is a what's called a muscle fibre. And to convert the signal from the end of the motor neuron to the muscle fibre, there has to be a chemical reaction. And this chemical reaction is done by a chemical called the AChR. And there is a much longer word for the AChR, which I think is called a nicotinic acid, whatever it is. It's an AChR. You can probably Google and find the right thing it's called. But essentially what happens is this AChR is the chemical. The chemical basically is reacting with the end of the motor neuron, converts it into contraction, which moves the muscle, and that basically moves your finger. So the AChR is a very important thing. What happens in myasthenia gravis is, MG, I did get it right that time, but what happens is that the antibodies which you have in the body are something that attack the ACHRs. So what that means is the ACHRs are coming under attack from antibodies that say this is no good to us, we don't want you in our system, it's not doing the right thing, go away. And effectively that's shutting the ACHRs down. It's either stopping them from working properly or working at all. The reason why that happens, or say the reason why it happens, is because the antibodies have a mistaken belief that the ACHRs are attacking it. And what antibodies are, and I should probably explain that first, what antibodies are they're things that we have that allow us to go to the supermarket, allow us to go on a plane, on a train, or wherever, and when someone coughs or sneezes, or when someone can't be bothered to wash their hands after they've been to the toilet and leaves the hand, opens a door with blooming germs on the hand, all that stuff, those are the things that basically stop us from getting ill immediately. So if someone sneezes us on the train, it means that it means that if someone sneezes you on the train, you don't get a cold or a sneeze or the flu or whatever immediately. Your body has antibodies to stop that from happening. Whereas in the case of Myasthenia Gravis, what's happening is that these antibodies are actually going, hang on a second, we've got these ACHRs and he's doing the wrong thing, we think they're attacking us. So the antibodies will try and shut those down like they would a cough or a cold or a sneeze. And in consequence to that, it means that these ACHRs are not consequently working properly or at all, or as they should. Where that then translates into symptoms is it means that things that need muscles quite regularly or quite quickly or often, for example eyes being the classic one, if you're driving a car or you're out walking a dog or whatever, your eyes are going to be all over the place all the time. And the reason for that is because they're looking for dangers, they're trying to keep you along a path, they're trying to stop you tripping over, they're always looking for things. And when your ACHRs are not, or when your muscles are not working because of this ACHR problem, it means that your eyes are going to be all over the place. And it's one of those things that starts, that's one of the first symptoms of MG, is problems with the eyes, which is what I had. And likewise, I said, your arms and your legs and your fingers, and maybe your handwriting is off because you can't hold the pen in the way that you once could, and all those kind of things. So that's really what is happening with MG. Your motor neurons are being caused the problem with these ACHRs. The ACHRs are coming in under attack because the antibodies, because they have the mistaken belief that these ACHRs that are supposed to be making your muscles move perfectly are in fact causing a danger to your body, and that is why MG exists. That is at least my understanding of it. I'm hoping that that is a useful understanding. I'm hoping that makes some sense. I'm hoping that is not too scientific or medical jargon based, but of course I should say that there is a huge amount of science and medical stuff to this, and I'm trying to put this in very simple terms, but hopefully that's helped explain this in relatively straightforward terms. If you are a consultant neurologist, doctor, and you've got your hand in your head in shame saying that I've said something that's terrible or wrong or whatever, then please feel free to drop me a message and I'll be happy to correct this video or make a new one, or do something that's straightforward in layman's terms. But hopefully for those of you who have looked at this and find this interesting, this is an explanation at least as to what MG is, why it happens, and therefore what's going on. And what I will do is I'm going to do other videos. I'm going to do many other videos, but I'm going to do another video on the symptoms, which is sort of a continuation of this video, and I'll also of course do some videos about the treatments and the living with this day in, day out. But that's it for now. Thank you very much for watching.